Now going to question number 6. Here we're being asked about the underlying portion in the text as a whole. And when you're asked about the underlying portion, what matters most is the overall main idea. The underlying portion is simply something that interacts with that main idea. So let's start reading. This text is from a poem. Oh, deep delight to watch the gladsome waves, exultant leap upon the rugged rocks, ever repulsed, yet ever rushing on, filled with a life that will not know defeat, to see the glorious hues of sky and sea, the distant snowy sails glide spirit like into an unknown world, to feel the sweet enchantment of the sea, thrill all the soul, clearing the clouded brain, making the heart leap joyous as its own bright singing waves. Wow. Now, analyzing this poem little by little, we do see some contrasting going on. There's a deep delight to see the waves leap upon the rocks, ever repulsed, yet rushing on, filled with life that will not know defeat, to see glorious hues of sky and sea, distant snowy sails into an unknown world, to feel the sweet enchantment of the sea thrill all the soul, clearing the clouded brain, making the heart leap joyous. So if we're looking for kind of a good versus bad, we'll actually notice that there's a lot more good here than bad. So maybe a tiny bit of contrast here, repulsed, unknown, and clouded. But mainly most of the stuff we're hearing is admiring and really marveling at the sea. But we're being asked about the underlined part, which says, ever repulsed yet rushing on, filled with a life that will not know defeat. So rushing onward, filled with life, not knowing defeat. And I guess the idea of it being ever repulsed is maybe the idea that it's maybe a little scary, or, you have to wonder if something bad is going to happen in the waves. But they rush on, they're filled with life, and they'll never know defeat. So really, it's admiring the waves. And let's look at the answers that do that. Portraying the surroundings as imposing and intimidating. I would say a little bit more positivity. Intimidating is kind of like scary, and that was just kind of the minority here. The idea that maybe it's scary, but the majority was that it has life and it's kind of glorious. It'll never be defeated. So imposing and intimidating have kind of more of a negative tone. B characterizes the sea's waves as relentless and enduring, and that matches great because they're filled with a life that will not know defeat. They're relentless and enduring, so that's pretty good. C conveys the speaker's ambivalence about the natural world. I was definitely looking for that when I first read this because I was looking for those contrasts. But really, we saw that the grand majority of this is mostly positive, so it wasn't about the ambivalence. And D draws a contrast between the sea's waves and the speaker's thoughts. And once again, the contrast in this poem is not big enough. It was just a couple of little words, but most of it was just talking about the glory of the sea. So I don't think the point was to make that contrast. So the answer that remains here is B.